Okay, so let's just do a few more little examples using this new method. One of the things that I'm going to encourage you to do again is to go ahead and pause this video and then just come back to it. So pause it if you want to so you can try these and then see how you did. So I'm going to go ahead and start now. If you need to pause, do it. So we're using the grouping method again on these trinomials, leading coefficient of 1. So we see that there is no greatest common factor. It's in proper order. So we take that first coefficient there and we multiply it by the last. That gives us 8. We look for all the sets of factors, and we don't have too many here. We got 1 times 8, 2 times 4, 3 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work. We're back to, we verified that we only have the 2 sets. Now we're going to look at that second sign, and that tells us that we need things that subtract to 7. So that tells us very quickly that we're looking at 8 times 1, because 8 minus 1 is 7, and that is what we're seeking out here. So again, we just drop down that first term. We're going to drop down the last term, and now we're going to change this using the 8 and the 1. Now remember, again, using the old signs, the sign rules that we did for every other trinomial method that we've done, the negative means that the signs are different, and the first sign tells us what the bigger number is. So we have an 8x and a 1x. I'm putting in the 1 just for effect. So the bigger one gets the negative, so the 8 is bigger, the small one is positive then. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at this really quick, and we see that negative 8 and positive 1 are negative 7. So we've got everything, so it works, so that's good. And now we see that we've created that 4-term polynomial. All we have to do is split it, and then we're just going to use factoring by grouping. So in the first term, we see that 2x is our greatest common factor. We divide that out, we're left with x minus 4. We always take that middle sign. And in our second 2 terms, we see that there is no GCF, so we write that 1, and of course x minus 4. And now that we've got our new our new binomial, our greatest common factor is x minus 4. And when we divide that out, we're left with 2x plus 1. Now remember, one of the things that you should be doing is multiplying these back to check on them. All right, so let's go ahead and take the next one. And again, we look to see if there's a greatest common factor. There isn't. We see if it's in proper order. It is. So now we know that we've got a trinomial with a leading coefficient of 1, and we are using the grouping method. So we're going to do 4 times 15 is 60. Now I'm doing this one because I want you to see this can get pretty big. Let's go ahead and just find all the factors. So 1 times 60, 2 times 30. Your biggest enemy here is getting lost, and that's one of the reasons why I tell you just to go right in order. 3 times 20, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, 6 times 10, 7 doesn't work, 8 doesn't work, 9 doesn't work, we're back to 10, and so we are, we've gotten every single possible set of factors, and now we know that we need to subtract to 4. So we're going to look for the set of factors that subtracts to 4. And let's see, do we we do have one. So 10 minus 6 is 4. And of course 6 times 10 is 60. So we've got our numbers that we're going to sub in. So now we take our first term and just bring it. And the last term, and now we're going to rewrite our positive 4x using 2 terms. So when, again, using those same sign ideas, the second sign in the trinomial tells us that the signs are different, so we've got a plus and a minus. The first sign tells us that the bigger one gets the the positive. So we've got 10x and we've got 4x. We said the bigger one gets the positive, so that means the littler one gets the minus. And now we are going to verify that we did what we needed to do. So we've got a positive 10x and a negative 4x. Oops, that wasn't supposed to be a 4, so that's one of the good reasons why we do this. It's a 6, an ugly 6 now, but it's still a 6. And now we're going to go ahead and we verified we've got 10 minus 6 is 4. So everything is good. We want to always do that because if we make a mistake like I just did, it's really a quick catch. And if you make a mistake and you do the entire problem without finding the mistake, sometimes it's difficult to go back and look at it and see the problem. So it's really best to do it right up front. So now that we've got it in trinomial form, we just go ahead and split it. And in our first term, we see that, or first two terms rather, we see that we've got a 2x as our greatest common factor. When we divide that out, we're left with 2x plus 5. And of course, we always use that middle sign. And in our second two terms, we have a 3. And we divide that out, we're left with 2x. So let's make sure we're careful. We're dividing by a negative 3. So that's plus 5. And now we see we've got 2x plus 5 as our new GCF. And when we divide that out, we're left with 2x minus 3. And let's just go ahead and do one more. And this one just has a little extra layer of complexity added. Again, is it in good order? Is it in proper form? Is there GCF? So we go through all that. Now, parts of this hopefully look a little bit familiar because the idea here is what do you do if you've got two variables? So you just have to be a little bit careful here. But we're going to go ahead and start out the same way. We've got 6 times 8 is 48. And then we just look for the sets of factors. So, of course, that's 1 times 48, 2 times 24. If you went through the whole last video, this one should look familiar. 4 times 12, 5 doesn't work. 6 times 8, 7 doesn't work. So there's our complete set of all the sets of factors, or group of all the sets of factors. So now we're going to look at this, and we know that we want them to subtract to 13. So subtracting to 13, that's this guy. So now let's go ahead and start rewriting. And this is where it's just a little bit different. You've got to be a little bit careful. So we have 6a squared, and then this guy, of course, is negative 8b squared. So now we know it's 16 and 3, and we know that we're going to subtract. We know that they've got different signs. Bigger one is positive. So we've got 16, and remember you're going to use this, the AB. And then we've got a 3AB. And, you know, again, back to the signs, we know they're they're different, and the bigger one is positive, so there's my positive, there's my negative. And then, of course, we check it to make sure that we didn't make any mistakes. So we've got a positive 16 and a negative 3. That adds to positive 13, so we've got it written out correctly. Now we're just going to factor our 4-term polynomial. So we split it. And in the first term, we see we've got 2a as our greatest common factor. We divide that out. Sign goes with, so it's a negative. And then here we see that we've got a b. And we divide that out. We're left with 3a minus 8b, excuse me. It's a negative b, so be careful. And now we see we've got a 3a plus 2b, 8b. We divide that out, we're left with 2a minus b. There we go. And that's all there is to that. But, you know, just again, being careful to pay attention to what's going on with the variables. That's the big deal here.